comes the fun part, rough animation. Using the frame length and any dialogue from the story reel you've created, I explore the movements, I get up and act them out, and just put really rough drawings down. You'll have time to make them pretty later. So here we are with the Kato character from the Games of Hunger, and I just wanted to walk you through sort of what my thoughts were when I was working on this. So I always usually do the first drawing pretty detailed, just so I get a clear idea where everything is, but everything after that can be really rough and you can slowly build it up as you work up the action. So right now I have him sort of recoil down. This is on 2s when he's coming down, so it's actually holding for 2 frames at a time because it's not a super fast motion. But then right in here, right as he starts to angle up, it's fast again. It's like on 1s, so 1 frame at a time, and that sort of gives it some texture. It sort of flows, it's nice and slow and speeds up to here, and you can see I'm really pushing his face in here. I'm really stretching it out to just get that really wide face, like he's gonna gobble this cake down. And then as he goes forward, I have his jaw. You can see his jaw is sliding back here, so that sort of gives an extra amount of drag here. As he moves forward, I have him pretty much opening up like a snake, where the top of his skull is bending back open, and then the bottom is bending the opposite way to really show how fast he's going to slam down into this cake. And so again, and you can see I'm dragging the hair. I'm really dragging it because it's so fast. And then all of a sudden I hit this stupid fast motion right here. And because it's so fast, I just want to show everything almost like it's a blur. So I'm drawing like 2 sets of eyes, 2 noses, and his face is just dragging like crazy. Or sorry, just speeding through that like crazy. And then just pops down and the cake just slaps open. And then the rest is just an animation cycle. It's on a loop on 1s. And I just have him mowing down on this thing. So pretty much again, it gives some nice texture to have kind of like a slower motion here and then speed up into that, slow, and then fast again. And when it's done, you get this. Don't be impatient. Animation is a really tedious process. And just get used to drawing the same thing over and over and over, which is why, again, it's so important to have a good model sheet at the beginning of your character so you understand them from all sides. Now comes a step that makes me want to shoot myself in the head. Cleanup animation. It's really just tracing a rough animation frame by frame, making each drawing clean, like a line drawing in a coloring book. I have such a huge respect for people who do this for a living. It's so hard to get a perfect line. I tend to rush through this step because it's just for YouTube. If it was for a short film festival or a feature film, I'd probably hire someone else to do this part. It takes a lot of skill to do cleanup. Now that I've spent my last few weeks tracing and wanting to drill a hole through my head, we get to add some color to the characters. This is kind of fun and mindless. I just go through each of the shots and fill them in like an automatic paint by number. It's actually kind of fun after the mind-numbing cleanup job. Plus, this is also where you can start to see your vision come to fruition. Now is my second favorite part of animation, effects. Effects are anything that moves that isn't a character or a prop, such as smoke or a blood splatter, or even something as simple as a bit of cola falling off of a bottle. It's important to do this stage after the character animation is locked, because the character's movement determines what the effect will look like. So here I'm animating the blood splatter when everyone eats too much and they explode. So I just thought this would be a good example to show you how I animate special effects. And so how I've treated it is almost like a balloon has got to its biggest point, and then all of a sudden it pops and just whatever's inside it is just spewing out. And then pretty much just to keep it organized, I'll go and do passes. So just say I'll follow this, let's say this piece right here, this chunk right here. I go forward and I just sort of start to separate it away from itself, And then you can see I'm just following this. This keeps it more organized. So I'm just animating this piece flop to the ground like a big disgusting whatever that is. So that's how I'm tracking it. And then I'll just go back and find the next piece and I'll just continue. So let's just say right here there's a big glob. So I'll turn the light table on and I'm just going to follow this blob here and just start drawing a bunch of goop. Just like that. Squeezes out there, and then the gravity starts to kick in, so it starts to angle downwards. You can see the arc is slowly going to start moving like this, and it's just going to follow its trajectory down to the ground. And then once I do that, and then as it goes also I'm going to have it thin out here, and then also start to leave other pieces behind. So start drawing other pieces that are separating from itself as it falls apart, and pretty much just, let me just continue this, sorry, and then follow those pieces, and it's just sort of it'll keep falling apart and keep falling apart. So I'm following this piece down, and then you pretty much go back to the beginning, find another piece, and follow that. So let's create a little goopy piece here that's stretching here, and then do the exact same thing that I said. Maybe this breaks apart sooner, so it starts to get thinner, and then all of a sudden it breaks into two pieces. And so you make this stuff goopy and floppy, you might want to take this piece and just start rotating it, almost like it's if you took a noodle and threw it, it would kind of topple end over end, and that'll just help this look really disgusting. Of course it'll happen really quickly, you can see it's going to be really fast, and pretty much you just keep doing that and you keep populating your scene with more and more guts and blood, and afterwards I'm going to add maybe some kidneys or bones and have them hit the ground and bounce, something like that. But overall you can just see when I play it at full speed it goes, it's really fast. But in the context with the sound effect, it'll feel right. And so that's pretty much the basics on how I do effects. Just build and build and build. That's pretty much it for the visuals. Now I just replaced the storyboard panels with the new final images. And now it's moving on to post-production.